My hotel here, which I am pretty happy with for the most part, has a single LED inside of it for lighting. So it does light the entire building. There's no compartmentalization on it. As you can see down there at the bottom, the base windows, it is tinted to where you can't just see all the way through. But you can see a little bit of wear and tear around the glass area. And I am not happy with that at all. In fact, actually, the way that I have done this building, lift that up a little bit to where you can see on the inside there. Okay, so I've got the glass pieces in there, then I put window tint down, and then I put a diffuser down on top of it. But I'm just not happy with the windows on the outside, the way it looks or anything else. And I've dimmed the LED up quite a bit just so it looks more uniform with the rest of the layout. But now I'm going to completely redo this. I did the exact same thing already once with my building over there. So let's get started with tearing out this building. Alright, so this is the underside of my layout, and this little hole right here is where my LED drop light comes through and then passes around and goes into this light hub. So we're going to turn around and disconnect the plastic off of here, get everything taken off, get it ready, so that way we can pull the building apart first. First thing we're going to do is I use actual packaging tape to plug the holes, especially for storage, or if you have a really dirty basement. Covering up those holes keeps little critters out of it, at least the best that they possibly can. It's not going to keep them all out. Spiders can pretty much get through about anything, but it is very helpful and nice to have those out. So we're going to get that off. We're going to trim just my little tiny bit, that plug off, and now we can separate out the wire that is running. And let's get this back one off of here as well. Alright, so I'm just going to figure out which light hub it was, and there it is right there. Okay, so now we've got it all separated out, and we've got our just plug hung out and taken care of. So now we should be able to go back up to the top side and pull the whole building out, and then we can get started on the repair. Alright, so now that we've gotten everything unplugged from underneath and buttoned up, we should be able to turn around and just pull this straight up off of here. Get that out. So now that we've got the complete unit apart, as you can see, it's just a single LED on the inside. But we're going to rework all of those window areas. So we're in my shop for just a little bit first, because I need to cut some pieces down to size, and we're going to go ahead and take off all these pieces of plastic that are in here, try to get all this tore down. Like I said, it's literally just going to fall out. That's one of the biggest things that I disliked about it. It's not really holding together very well. So we're going to just peel the entire thing off, get it all out of there, take the plastic off, get it broke down to where I've got clean see-through windows and everything else. I can start working my way back up here. So, and then we will, once all this is out of here, before we start reassembly, we will touch up all the black again on all the walls so it does not bleed through, and make it to where we can start using everything. What do I use? Plexiglass. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is do our measurements here real quick. Right now I can see directly on the inside of my building, I am exactly at 5 inches. So I cannot go over 5 inches. That has to be exact. So I'm going to need 2 pieces at 5 inches at least. The height of my building is exactly at 3.5. Maybe just a skosh shy of 3.5. Nope. There it goes. Oh, I was setting on the LED. That's the reason why. So no, I'd say 3.5. So we're going to do 3.5 by 5. I need 2 pieces of those. So let's get those ripped up. All right, so we're going to set this thing up exactly at 3.5. So here are my 3.5 by 5 inch pieces. All right, now what you want to do is you want to set these inside so you've got a good firm fit on those. Check your fitment. You may need to lightly sand the edges of them if it's a little stuck or you're catching some little areas on your inside. Like I said, this would go a lot smoother if you were doing this on a brand new building as opposed to, trying to rework something. Once you get those in there, you're going to want to push these all the way into the sides so that way you can get a good measurement on your ends. Now don't just take for granted that one end is going to be the exact same as the other, because most likely it may not. A lot of these have some variations in the way that they work. So this one I am setting at 2 3/16 on this inside edge, so that's going to be my first piece I cut. If I go over here and check the other one, I'm at 2 3/16, just a hair strong on that. 3/16 strong. And 3/16. All right, so we got our last 2 pieces cut up and fit. We're going to just do a quick little fitment check, make sure that it fits good. That one I like. That one I like. All right, one thing to double check on is make sure that since we did splice that deal, since we ended up breaking that seam right there, make sure that it's going to fit back tight. Otherwise, you still may need to sand that width just a little tiny bit. Otherwise, it's looking really, really good. Check and make sure that your height is good. Make sure that the plexiglass does not come over the top part of, or basically the bottom, but the bottom part of your building and everything else. and now you are ready to go in and start assembling. So let's go to my actual workbench to do all my assembly work. Alright, so here we are at my workbench. Said we've already got the plastic pieces cut. They're ready to go. We will get those all glued in and taken care of here after a bit. So the first thing we're going to do, shake out any excess debris and material. You can take a... Alright. So what I'm using is actually from Michael's craft store. It's just Craft Smart standard black chalkboard paint. You can use acrylic paint, doesn't really matter which ones you use on there. We're going to hit the inside walls. Basically you just want anything that's going to be black. That's going to give you a nice good coat over those. It'll help prevent any light bleed out or anything else with that. So we'll go ahead and get those touched up first, let it thoroughly dry. Alright, so we're going to let that set and dry up for just a minute. Go back through and hit any extra touch-ups that we may need in there. I know it's hard to see on the camera, but there are a couple spots that didn't quite cover as well as I want, so we're going to get those retouched up again and taken care of. Right in here is where the black had bleed through just a little bit on my windowsill. So I'm going to go hit that again. I'm using ivory for a color. All of my paint that I use is Craft Smart. Either satin or semi-gloss or matte. It's local. It works great. Completely gone over the inside with a second coat from the areas that I need to go over. I have touched up the window that had some little bit of issues. I figured it'd just be easier to do that off camera than on camera. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to actually touch up on here, and I've kind of temporarily tacked it into place, is I'm going to run another bead on this inside edge to cover where the joint comes together. What I end up using here, it's been offered by a lot of modelers that do model train action, is this plastic strut, plastic weld solvent. It doesn't take very long to set up. It actually comes with an applicator tip already part of it. So we're going to run a little bead on this inside edges here real quick. In fact, actually we're going to do every single inside edge just to re-solidify. We're going to go ahead and take the plastic off of the coverings. Alright, so there are two ways you can do this. We can build the box and just slide it right inside there, and then slide it right inside the building. But since we've already got the box made, the actual building box made, I'm going to go for the latter of just putting the inside walls in first, the long walls, and then I will put the short walls in on the ends next. All I'm doing right now is making sure I've got the burrs off of the edges. You could take a block of sandpaper if you needed to, but everything's just coming straight off with my fingernails, so I'm not too worried about that. And now on to my speedy video montage of me applying all of the glue onto the plexiglass. Once this is done, then I will go back through and check and make sure that the fitment is good and solid with the wiring, and then add my window tinting and light diffusing film, which is the Woodland Scenics light diffusing film that you can kind of see in the upper left hand corner. Back on the layout and buttoned up. I have the lights turned on. It's harder to see a little bit with my floodlights that I'm using for the camera. Let's see if I can turn these off. See if we can get a little bit better of a view. I like that. That lighting to me looks a lot better. You can see where I've blacked out some of the windows and others are working good. I was actually able to turn up the light a lot more, which makes it look more realistic. Before I had to have it really dimmed because the windows were not looking as good. And let's see if I can get in there a little bit more. The only thing I may do later on, and it's going to be a long time down the road, is like the bottom windows. I could see myself putting in a restaurant front area to make that look better. But I don't know in this particular layout that I really want to go into great detail on a lot of these. Doing other parts of the layout is more enjoyable. Building N-scale buildings, for me, not so much. HO isn't as bad, but N-scales are a little bit finer detail, and I like some other processes, so I may either build some or just outsource it and get it from somewhere else to have the buildings taken care of. But I am at least happy with the way the building looks now. It's so much better than it was before. Really reminds me of how this one turned out, as I was able to put blocks out of the windows and everything else, and it looks really good. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Also subscribe to the channel. Have quite a few more videos lined up here in the next couple weeks. So thank you again. Take care.